So something kind of cool happened to me recently. I was at the Warren County Fair with some people, and they entered me into an art contest, and it was a clay sculpture contest all about making a cow, molding a cow out of clay. And I hadn't molded anything out of clay since high school, which is like almost 20 years now. But I was like, what the heck, I like to sort of accept challenges like that and see how well I can do. And usually I take it very seriously, and so I tend to do pretty well. And in this case, I ended up molding out of white self-drying clay. It doesn't need to be cooked or anything, which is pretty convenient. It just dries by itself, doesn't need to be cooked in a kiln. But I ended up with something that looked like that. And I mean, I didn't think it was all that great. I mean, it looked like a four-legged mammal, that's for sure. But I told the people I was with, I said, I feel kind of bad entering into this contest that's meant for children. And they said, oh no, these other entries next to yours are adults. And I was like, oh. I was a little embarrassed because, yeah, I with no false modesty, there was a difference. And one of the women actually took one look at mine and said, I give up. And I felt kind of bad about that, like being this guy from halfway across the state and entering into this county fair contest and just kind of dominating. But I did end up winning the blue ribbon, and it was, it was cool. I mean, it was definitely like totally unexpected thing to happen. And it was judged by the queen of the Warren County Fair, and I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to show you the picture that was taken of us together with my ribbon and the cow on a plate, kind of like I'm serving it there on the plate. And I was really relieved when she gave me first prize, because I was kind of worried, frankly, that it was going to be sort of a case of, give the award to somebody because it's just a small time contest, not necessarily pick the best one, just pick, for other reasons. I think you know what I'm getting at. But anyway, I took it home, and I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'll show you first premium Indianola, Iowa, hanging off of its neck there. So anyway, in the interim, before the queen came, I actually went off and looked at the real cows to see if I could get it looking more like a cow than it looked, because it was kind of like, almost looked just like a generalized four-legged animal. Like it could have been a pig, it could have been a dog, it could have been a cow, it could have been, any number of different animals depending on how you painted it. But the paint did make a big difference. And I made a couple of decisions with the paint, and I'll show you here. It's acrylic paint, and what I did was I looked at many, many pictures of Holstein cows, and I knew I always wanted it to be a Holstein because it was white, so I figured just some black patches would be the most convenient way to paint it, as opposed to just painting it all brown or whatever. So yeah, I ended up painting it, and I looked at a bunch of pictures. See, there's its pink snout. Those were originally ears, but I turned them into horns. I painted them kind of yellowish to make them horns, because I thought anatomically that kind of made more sense. And then I gave it little pink hooves. And I'll show you the other side here. You see, I tried to come up with a patch design that made sense based on the pictures that I saw. And I think I did a pretty good job. The patches look pretty natural to me. You can see the face. There's like a white strip down the middle of the face, which is very, very typical of Holstein cows. There is some variation, but I tried to kind of come up with the most kind of classic look. And I think I succeeded, honestly. It's a little bit stylized, and another thing to keep in mind is Oh, and then after spraying it with acrylic, I sprayed it with a clear acrylic spray on top of that to kind of give it a shine, because I thought that would look good, and I think it does. I think it kind of makes it pop. But yeah, I just kind of did my best here for somebody who hasn't done this in a long time, I think, and only it took 15 minutes to do it, and then only about a half an hour to paint or so. I think I came up with a pretty good solution, or pretty good result. But as you can see here, one thing, I think it ended up kind of looking like a calf instead of a full-grown cow, because when I was molding it, you have to remember I was molding it out of wet clay, so it was not really able to hold itself up. See, if I had made the legs thinner, which cows typically have thinner legs than this, and they have a bigger body. They have like you know, more girth, heftier body, and narrower legs. But I couldn't do that because I was making out of wet clay, and even the way it was, I could tell that it was just barely able to support its weight standing up. But I had to have it dry standing up, because if I laid it on its side, then it might have been flat on one side. So just kind of the way I had to do it. But anyway, this is a really cool memory to have of that day. It was a fun day. The Warren County Fair is fun. It's free, or at least it was free this year. I think that's a really good way to do it. Get your revenue other ways rather than a ticket, because a lot of people don't want to pay a ticket for a county fair. But it ended up being actually a lot of fun. Had a great time, and I mean, not a great time, but as far as county fairs go, it was fun, and I won my first blue ribbon ever, and maybe my last, I don't know. But anyway, thanks for watching. I just wanted to kind of brag about that a little bit, because it is quite a cool, unexpected thing. You can see there is a little bit of like white paint here and there. I did experiment with like sort of painting in some of the cracks and stuff. I decided against that because I found out pretty quickly that it's not the same shade of white, so it wouldn't have been good if I'd kept going with that. So, but honestly, I mean, even like the muscle sinews and stuff, somehow just out of instinct, I was able to kind of shape it in a fairly realistic way. I mean, it's definitely stylized, but it's not bad, really, for what it is. Like I said, considering that it didn't take too much effort put into it. So anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to Captain Unusual for more stuff like this. Pretty much stuff just like this, kind of hobbyist type stuff, art, DIYs, things like that. Occasionally something different, but I'm kind of gravitating towards the DIY sort of where art and invention kind of intersect, and hobbies and things like that. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.